Well, hello and welcome everybody. Randy Replay back at it again. The Minnesota Vikings are back at it again, trying to avoid going underneath 500 football for the first time this season. Today we face the Carolina Panthers in Carolina, and a team that is steadily declining and now does not have the stranglehold on the NFC North that they once had. Losing to the Falcons 48-26. If we go into the team schedule, we will take a peek at what happened here this season. We were on a 4-game winning streak, and then we have lost our last 2. We have the Panthers, Bengals, Packers, and Bears left to go here. And this is a must-win game. Coach Zimmer said Smeagol, if he doesn't have a good game, he is going to be benched. Everything in the first drives will tell that, and we might see Kenny Erickson or Steven Campagna. One of the two might just play today if Smeagol can't get it done. Now, looking at the player stats, as far as QB rating goes, Kenny Erickson would be the guy that I would put in there. He does have a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Steven Campagna, no touchdowns, 3 picks. They're all rookies, though. You have to remember that. But I don't think you give up on him just yet. He does almost have 4,000 yards for a rookie passer, 24 touchdowns, and just 13 interceptions. The 3 in the last game did not help that, but, I mean, you can't ask for a better starter, better start for a rookie. I mean, but yeah, 36 sacks, longest pass of 72. Kenny Erickson, a lot less there, 14 for 27, 191, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Although they did not get the playing time that they needed to get acclimated to this offensive scheme, and they have changed their offensive scheme. We're going to go into the formation subs. As you can see, we have now switched schemes here. We are now using a different playbook. Lots of pistol, lots of shotgun, and then only a minimalistic amount of single back. So the same defensive scheme, obviously, it's not working. Smeagol has regressed in the off week. That's about it. We're going to go to the injury report for both teams, and then we will get you to the excuse me. And we will get you to the field. The Vikings have no active injuries. Luke Slazewski is back. Missing 5 weeks with his injury. And then for the Panthers, Star Latulier is out with a foot fracture, 4 weeks. And then their starting running back, Jonathan Stewart, out 2 weeks with a pulled groin. So for the Minnesota Vikings today, it's about staying in that 4-3 and stopping the run. We've held the runners of the Falcons to under 50 yards in the first quarter, or first half. And then the second half, you know what happened. The mercy rule was indeed invoked. We did score a touchdown, but it doesn't matter. We fall to 6-6. Now tied with the Green Bay Packers. We're going to actually take a look and see who the Packers play today so we can better gauge if it's going to be a okay, so they play the Browns, so that's basically a guaranteed win for the Packers unless they want to play spoiler. It is in Cleveland, home field advantage, however you want to say it. Might happen. Highly unlikely, though. So they would assumably, yeah, they would be at 7-6 here at the end of this one, and then the Vikings would have to win just to tie their record. That'll be something we'll watch on the ticker down below throughout the game. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you at halftime.
Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL on EA Sports. Today, we've got an exciting matchup on tap. It's the Panthers coming in at 7-5, going up against the Vikings, who come in at 6-6. Time to head up towards soggy Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, where we join our dry commentating team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis. Guys, take it away.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to uptown Charlotte and rain-soaked Bank of America Stadium. Just a moment ago, the lights, the cameras, the action, all the pyrotechnics, everything was ablaze, everything was allowed here at Bank of America Stadium as Carolina emerged from their tunnel. And we are ready to go as the Panthers get set to match up with the Minnesota Vikings. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, we look at this Panther ball club as they interplay here. They come in after a loss last time out, but they've still been in good form, winners of 6 of their last 8. Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, they come in off a loss last time out, but they've been playing better than 500 ball the last couple months, 5 wins in their last 8 games. 3 quarters of the NFL season are complete. What lurks in our final month? We're underway in Week 14. This one taken just inside the 10. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. So here are the Panthers now for their opening drive. They'll be brought out by their 7th-year man out of Auburn, the 2015 NFL MVP. It's Cam Newton.
Would you say that last week's performance by him, workmanlike in terms of numbers?
1 touchdown, 1 pick, but obviously a loss.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line for him. All he cares about is how do we find a way to win the game. Maybe leans on a few other parts of the offense and hopefully springs a receiver or 2 free.
First carry for Christian McCaffrey. And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32. Kelvin Benjamin has to be a feature of this offense that's on your screen now.
Definitely a #1 receiver, a huge target with some speed. It's almost like go-go gadget when he goes up to get the football. No matter how you defend him, he can go just a little bit higher.
Newton to throw. Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. He's picked off at his own 46. And he'll bring this one back to the 29. They told us repeatedly earlier in the week in our meetings, we need some plays from our defense here on the road early. They got one.
And don't think they were above all week long, pointing out to their defense that the other defense is rated higher than them. You gonna let that happen, guys? Is that how we're going to play? And they responded to the challenge.
The Vikings offense now heading out to take over. And they'll start this drive with very good field position. And he'll be brought down at about the 25 after a pickup of 4.
It's really simple to say that they know their identity, that they are a passing team. But one of the reasons that they're so successful, they know how to mix in the run and make sure that they keep the defense off balance and not able to just simply say, let's go get the quarterback and disrupt things.
Forced out to his left. And he can't hang on. That's definitely going to be one he wishes he had back. Incomplete in the end zone.
This team is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. It came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
They haven't made much of this great starting field position they had. Here's 3rd and 6.
Here we go now.
He'll look to throw. And he comes back with one complete. And he's able to pick up the first down before he's tackled right at the 10. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Now on 1st down, he'll drop to throw it. And incomplete, he dropped it in the end zone.
You got to be precise with your throws, especially in this situation. You're inside the 10-yard line going into the end zone. But sometimes the emotion, the excitement, sometimes the decisions just aren't made very well because of that.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And he's going to go down. Sacked right around the 17. Charles Johnson in there to get him, and that's sack number 8 for him on the year. A few issues here on the offensive line. Apparently, he got sacked 5 times last week. They got to him here in the 1st quarter.
And I would think that running the ball would be paramount.
And it's caught. In the end zone, touchdown, Minnesota. And, partner, they found a gap there on the post pattern, and it was in the middle third of the field.
And that's really difficult to do because ordinarily the safeties are back there to prevent that happening. But they found the opening and exploited it.
And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. So they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for third down. They'll drop the throw. And unable to connect. If he had caught it, it would have been a first down. Instead, it's 4th. To throw on second down is Newton. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
It's a lot of contact going on there. And in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. To throw on third down. Newton, throw left side. McCaffrey's got it. And they get 14 yards there and a first down.
If the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So,
and no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. They said there was a lot of discussion in their defensive team meeting room after last week's performance. They had 7 sacks. Something in the water. There's one in the first quarter.
A lot of discussion, a lot of excitement because now everyone wants to get involved with this. Who's going to continue that process? Who's going to get to the quarterback this week? But they have to be careful. When you have that much pressure, they want to use it against you. I don't know if it's just game plan or he's just finding his way open.
And maybe a little of both. And the D-line pinching together must be expecting the run. Newton. Touchdown, Carolina. To do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating need in order to not punt the ball again.
So they took a shot on first down but couldn't connect. So they saw the contact before the ball.
The football on first down, I've got to get at least 4 yards. They got 5 here. They've got to feel pretty good about that one.
Being chased out left. Open space inside the 10. And he's going to score. It's a Viking touchdown. How about that? Their quarterback with his second touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Vikings have taken the lead. He hit him earlier in this first quarter with his arm. Now he does it with his legs.
Right now, he's one of those stat stuffers that you see on the basketball court. Simon's created a nice gap for the running back to get through. Pick up 7 yards. Yeah, he's probably chortling on the headset right now saying, we got it going, boys. Let's keep
Cam fighting. He lost the football. It's out. But fortunately, a Panther was able to get on this. So Carolina keeps the ball.
On plays like this, when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction.
Sunday returns following them. And the holder's going to keep it. He's going to try to run for it. They're not going to get it. They try to move the chains with a surprise, but it's a turnover on downs. They pass up the 3, fake it. It doesn't work. Well, clearly that was a design play. I just don't know that it was the right design. Hey, your holder to have him pick it up and kind of be the power guy trying to run through the middle. Everything has to go right for that to work.
You mean you weren't relying on just great blocking to get him through? You kind of think maybe he can help make his own way if he's an actual running back instead of the holder? Yeah, I thought the same thing. That first down play, all you want to do is wedge out any type of space and try and create enough room. If you have to run the punter out there, he can successfully complete the punt.
Yeah, didn't get a ton there, but at least some positive yardage.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete. On play action, they'll throw. He's going to rifle one deep left side. So they took a shot there on third down, couldn't get it. Now it's 4. Very low.
Check, Patriot!
They'll set up to throw. Throwing left side, it's complete. And he is knocked down from the side at the 13-yard line. A big play there on the catch and run. 68 yards.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
Here we go. Detroit! Detroit! Back to the Philly. Here we go.
And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A great effort there. His 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Vikings are going to add on to their lead.
For big runs like that, because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
Now a play fake here on first down. He's going to let this one go deep. Looking for Benjamin, but it's intercepted. Picked off around the 27.
And Brandon, the passing game for both of these teams is going to be affected as the game goes along. It's not looking like the rain's going to let up anytime soon. So that might mean a few more wobbly passes and wide receiver slips. And this one winds up getting intercepted.
Now out comes their leader and the captain of this offense back onto the field. He's thrown for a touchdown pass, and he's run for one.
Right, you know a coach said that, right?
Yeah.
Not an actual player. Not a chance at all. Way easier said than done.
They're going to look to throw. And he comes back with one complete. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38.
They chose to try and get it through the air, but they run successful.
And this is right down the middle as he puts it through. And that'll push the lead up to 17. Different ways here. 2nd and 10. Newton again. Oh, the rookie nearly had the pick. Probably should have had it. 3rd down now. Newton now to throw. Completes it to Dixon. There he goes left side. Touchdown, Carolina. And Dixon, his 3rd touchdown now on the year.
He should lead in a big way, and the best way to do it, touchdowns.
He'll drop to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he is down deep into Carolina territory. It's a big one there for the Vikings. 41 yards.
A lot of receivers see the drag route as a risk-reward type of a play. The risk, going into the middle of the field where there's some big people want to hit you. But the reward is oftentimes you get lost in coverage, running a little bit underneath. And when you catch it just right, as we just saw there, the end result can be a big, big play.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get it here to the 10-yard line. That one good for 10 yards. And that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so.
Not an ideal spot to be on first down, but I love that the play caller did not immediately abandon the running game and say, okay, we've got to throw it in order to pick it up. Stayed with the run, was rewarded with a big-time pickup. Now they're in 2nd and manageable.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he tried to bounce it outside, but they'll stop him behind the line. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. Around the NFL, an update from a game going on down in Tampa. It's the Lions that have grabbed the early lead. We'll keep you updated on that one as it progresses. So 2 minutes to go in a wild first half. Back with more from Charlotte after this. A reminder with halftime approaching, when we get there, we'll ship you off to Orlando. Larry Ridley will have first half highlights and analysis.
And I hope he's iced down his throat because he's got a lot to get through because we've had no shortage of points scored in the first half.
It has been a fun track meet. The Vikings on third down. They've hit 4 of 7. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. And they'll let their fullback try and push the pile. And he gets the first down yardage he needs before he's brought down at the 6. The gain of 5 that time gives him the conversion and makes it 1st and goal.
On 3rd and 1, it seems natural to just turn and hand it to the biggest guy you have in the backfield. But usually, he's not the primary runner. So for the defense, they're often keying on the running back because he's the guy who gets the ball more often, and the fullback is the blocker. When he ends up carrying the football, that's a heck of a tendency breaker, and now you're just trying to jump on his back and hold on.
Be interesting to see now what they do offensively down near the goal line after not much there that time.
As the offensive play caller, that may change your sequence now. Instead of coming right back with a running play, you may have to go to the air.
He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. An out route there for the score, a quick out route there for the score.
Now, you're not really surveying the defense on this one. You're just counting on timing, making this play happen. 1-2, ball's out of his hands, knows where he's going, just puts it to the outside. Touchdown.
Now a first down throw for Newton. And this is caught at the 8. And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. Greg Olsen, his 4th touchdown on the year. The Vikings on 3rd down. They've had good success, 5 for 8 to this point. Here it's 3rd and 2. They'll throw now on the final play. A hit as he throws there, incomplete. So we've reached halftime in a wild first half. We'll take a minute to catch our breath as we send you down to Orlando, where we check in with Larry Ridley and our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Larry.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm Larry Ridley, and welcome to our EA Halftime Report. The Panthers are behind right now, but the home crowd should give them a boost. The Vikings have looked good on the road, and will just try to keep the ball rolling in the second half. All right, let's roll the highlights.
And hello and welcome to your halftime break. This is Randy Replay. We're going to get you ready for everything first half Minnesota Vikings football and then get you back out there for the second half action. Just take a look at these player stats and then we'll get you back out there for the Minnesota Vikings. Smeagol, after the first half, has a QB rating of 119.7, looking very good. Excuse me. He is 10 for 20. That is 50% completion percentage, for those of you that didn't know how to do math or didn't look over here. 205 yards. Excuse me, giving him 4,000 yards on the season, and then, of course, the 2 touchdowns. So it seems through the first half of play that the speech by Mike Zimmer again helped him, and as it sits now, he is their starter. In the rushing, it has been all Travis Parker, 5 carries, 32 yards. Sam Gable also has 4 carries for 17 yards, and Justin Sandman Vandershoff having a rather not so good day with 3 carries at 2 yards. They've been game planning around him. Every team in the league has, so when he's in there, they're calling blitzes, and they've been getting through. I don't blame it on Justin. I blame it on this offensive line letting them through. So Smeagol, 2 for 31 and a touchdown. And then another mention is Derek Fahey, 1 carry for a touchdown. It's going to say no yards, but it was under a half a yard for the touchdown there near the goal line. Also, Matthew Peterson has 1 for 5. Receiving, it is Darian Wilson with 2 catches for 18 yards and a touchdown. Luke Slazewski in his game back, 2 for 31 and a touchdown. It's also worth mentioning that Darian Wilson and Luke Slazewski each have drops in the end zone on one of the first drives of the game. Luke Slazewski had another drop, a wide open pass. He just dropped it. It's the rain, I tell you. These gloves don't work good when they're wet. Also, Jesse Peterson has a drop, but he's gone for 2 catches for 55 yards. Nobody cares about blocking, so we're going to go to defense and look at total tackles, and we have a tie for first. Justin Lewis, 7 tackles. Jerry Myers with 7. And then Poi Tralamalu and Rashid Spinks each with 4. Tackles for loss, we've had 3, 2 by Thomas Cross, 1 by Justin Lewis, and then sacks, we've had 2. 1 by Poi Tralamalu, which was a sack fumble recovered by the Panthers, and then Scott Rethwell and Richard Salthy each split 1. Interceptions, we have had 2 first-half interceptions, Poi Tralamalu and Matthew Arnsdorf. So the stat line for Poi Tralamalu, 4 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception. Oh my goodness. Pass defenses or deflections, 2 by Aaron Nelson, 2 by Matthew Arnsdorf, and 1 by Robert Nichols. So this cornerback position is getting worked here. 1 forced fumble by Poi Tralamalu recovered by the Panthers. No block kicks, no safeties, and no defensive touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings. We're going to get you back out there where we have the lead by 10, 31-21. It was a 17-point lead, but right there at the end, they come back and they get a score. And the defense has been stepping up here for the Vikings and really for the Panthers. So we'll see if this running game can get us through the rest of this one and pass it when necessary. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you after the game where I can hopefully call a Minnesota Vikings win. So far, so good.
No exotic formations, no misdirection. Just line up and run the darn ball, pick up the first down. I love it.
Yeah, 3rd and short, that's what you're supposed to do. Like you said, old school smash mouth football. And a nice gain of 21 yards. And just a small glimpse there as to why they like this rookie so much.
And that's why they lit up a little bit in our meetings with the coaching staff.
Yeah, when we talked about him, they did.
Yeah, you know, they like his work ethic. You know, this guy's running every route well.
And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. Touchdown, Vikings. A great play there with touchdown number 12 on the year. And the Vikings find a way to stretch their lead. Still plenty of time left in the game, but now starting to pull away a little bit. Get some breathing room with that one.
And I don't want people to think that NFL...
Ed, hello, and welcome back to the first live look-in replay here from Bank of America Field. Justin Sandman Vanderschaft, we need to talk about something here. Look at this. Look at the patience. He almost comes to a full stop, almost trips over Lane Johnson's foot there, and then almost comes to a complete stop there. So if we watch it in normal speed, it doesn't look like that. But anyway, almost trips up. He's patient. He's patient, looking downfield, seeing the block thrown by Luke Slazewski. He cuts inside right there, this little jump cut. And then he's loose down the left sideline and dances across for his 12th touchdown on the season, looking right at Luke Kuechly as he does so. And then celebrates with the left tackle Boone there. So back to live action. Justin Sandman Vanderschaft responsible for another touchdown, 37-21, with 8:15 left to go in the third quarter. Minnesota Vikings lead. This has been Randy Replay. I'll see you after the game.
And Gano's kick is right through, and that will close the gap down to 14. He'll look to throw. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked by Darryl Worley. And nothing but daylight ahead. And he will bring this one back. It's a pick six for a Panther touchdown. And remember, this is the #1 defense in the National Football League. There's a good example of why.
Shows that they set an aggressive tone, not just stopping the run, not just getting after the quarterback, but the ball's in the air. They treat it like they're...
3 here, not the worst thing in the world. And Gano's kick is right through. Third down now following the completed pass. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. Back to throw here. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
That would have been a great catch, but real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
And here's a big one now. Trying to hold this lead. They're going to go for it here on 4th down.
Here we go. Set. I think now, Barney. Back to the NFL. Here we go.
Now a handoff here to his running back. It's a gain of 15 that time, and it'll be a Minnesota first down. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of
Be sound defensively. There could be some opportunities.
And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Boy, it's nice to have that big, reliable target you can go to.
Each and every time. A lot of people see that position as a fallback. Throw it to them when all else fails. Not at all. This guy can make plays, and that's exactly what he just did.
Yeah, play here for a touchdown. And that one pushes the lead up to 11.
He's been denied.
They gotta have 6 here. It's 3rd and goal. Running it here, Artis Payne. And he is in. Touchdown, Carolina. Cameron Artis Payne. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Panthers are able to get this back within a touchdown.
But they decided to run it in and got it done on 3rd and goal. A lot of times, that's a passing play.
Feeling the pressure here and taken down. A sack back at the 7. 1 score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he's able to pick up the first down before he's tackled right at the 10. The decision to go for it pays off, and now they're set up 1st and goal. He'll look to throw. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
He's back to throw. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. 3rd and long coming up. Defensively, you pressure the quarterback or drape all over the passing lane?
Yes, that's exactly what you do. It's both because they're not mutually exclusive. They may have been at one time in football, but not anymore. You want to have that pressure. If you have a big-time pass rusher, send him after the quarterback, and then make sure you blanket the field.
It's a 6-yard carry. It does put him just a few yards short of the goal line, but 4th down coming up. Back to throw, and it's intercepted at the goal line. A great read, and it's picked off. And not much on the return there. He'll take it only up to the 9-yard line. Well, that's 3 picks he's now thrown in this game.
And I know this, the holiday season, because here we are in
Season of
December.
giving.
Right, it is.
Well, Charles, the forecast called for rain throughout the entire game, and we got rain throughout the entire game. But these two teams, they had fun getting dirty out there. They love the slop.
Did you trust the forecast ahead of time? Or are you one of those guys
I'm a little
that's skeptical about it, or did you trust it?
But when I saw just a big blob of green on the radar, I said, okay, let's trust.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you took my advice. Got your notes laminated, because, you know, open-air booth, that rain can affect us as well, although not as much as the guys on the field. But let's face it, it's kind of fun to watch these types of games, isn't it?
It is. By the way, how impressive is it that you travel with a laminator? I didn't even know there was a portable laminator.
The things that you learn.
Golly, wise beyond his years. So for Minnesota, they move back over 500 at 7-6. And they'll return home next week to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, they can ill afford to drop too many more as they fall to 7-6 on the year. And they'll have a tough one at home next week against the Green Bay Packers. So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. Till next time, we say so long from Charlotte.
And with that so long, we welcome you back up here into the open-air booth as mentioned before. The Minnesota Vikings hold on. It wasn't an ugly win. It wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but any win in this stage of the season is welcome. The Panthers made it interesting there in the final stretches of the fourth quarter, but Ryan Buelow seals the deal with a pick no doubt, or no, in the end zone, no less. And we'll get into these player stats, get you back to the main screen, and preview next week's against the Cincinnati Bungles. So Smeagol, again, forced to play for his season. And I do believe he will get the start next week, but I can only speculate. 104 QB rating, 17 for 31. That is 54% completion percentage for those of you that didn't know how to do math or simply didn't look over here. 279 yards in the game against the number 1 rated defense in the NFL. 3 touchdowns against 1 interception. So has over 4,000 yards on the season now and nearing that 30 touchdown mark for a rookie is past Russell Wilson's record. And now has 27, I do believe. We'll get into all that when we get back to the main screen. Sam Gable, 12 carries for 44 yards. Definitely had the bulk of the carries after a good game last week. Justin Sandman, 9 carries, 55 yards. This is the first time that Justin Sandman has not led the team in carries unless he's left during an injury. So maybe utilizing somebody else a little bit more this game has the Vikings. 9 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. As you can remember, in the first half, he had 3 carries for 2 yards. Definitely brought that average yards per carry up. Derek Fahey, 6 carries, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Travis Parker, 6 carries, 33 yards. Smeagol, 5 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Now, in a game where your QB leads the team in yardage? What? Daniel Hendricks, 3 for 13, and Matthew Peterson, 1 for 5. Daniel Hendricks really needs to come into his own here. He has been given less and less carries. He hasn't done much with them, just averaging under 4.5 yards per carry. Receiving, Darian Wilson left with a dislocated thumb. He seems to be okay. We'll get a full injury report after the game, or after the post game here. 3 catches, 26 yards, and a touchdown. Luke Slazewski, 3 for 52 and a touchdown in his game back. Lou Wang, a very, very underrated guy, 3 for 30. Travis Lee, 2 for 14 and a touchdown. Jesse Peterson, 2 for 55. Blake Letelier, 2 for 18. Anthony Bisbee, 1 for 16. And Cameron Quick, 1 for 68. Luis Gonzalez going without a catch here. He leads the team in catches still. Luke Slazewski, though, in his game back, 4 drop passes, as you can see on the right. I know 2 of them were, one of them was in the end zone, and then another one was on big third downs. He dropped 2 passes on third downs, and I can't remember what the other one was off the top of Randy's head. But, you know, it's raining. Drop passes are going to happen. Nobody cares about blocking. We're going to go to defense and look at total tackles, and we have a linebacker that has 10 tackles on the game. Justin Lewis led the team in tackles here. Total tackles of 10. Jerry Myers had 8. Rashid Spinks had 6. Point Tralamalu had 5. Thaddeus Rozu, Robert Nichols, and Matthew Arnsdorf with 4. Paul Fritchie, Ryan Buelow, Terrell Oliver, Scott Rethwell, Zachary Anderson with 3. Jacob Pickering, Josh Fitzer, Aaron Nelson, Drew Ward, Tevin Fair, Leo Neal, Thomas Cross, Richard Salty with 2. Jeremy Lindsay, Dan Nolte, Josiah Russell, and Otis McMiller each with 1. Tackles for loss, we had a bunch. Justin Lewis with 2. Thomas Cross with 2. Jeremy Lindsay and Josh Fitzer each had 1. Sacks, there were 2. Poi Tralamalu, Scott Rethwell, Richard Salty split. Interceptions, we had 3. Ryan Buelow, Poi Tralamalu, and Matthew Arnsdorf. Of course, Poi Tralamalu coming there in the 3rd, and then Ryan Buelow coming, his interception coming in the 4th quarter on the last drive. Very, very good putting the game away by Ryan Buelow. Pass deflections, we had a ton. 10 to be exact. Oh my goodness. 4 by Aaron Nelson. Almost had 2 interceptions in this game, but dropped because of the weather. 4 pass deflections for Aaron Nelson. 2 for Matthew Arnsdorf, Travis Lee, Jacob Pickering, Tevin Fair, and Robert Nichols each had 1. How does Travis Lee get a pass deflection on defense? Very interesting. Forced fumbles, 1 by Poi Tralamalu. Recovered by the defense, the Panthers. No safeties, no defensive touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings. The stat line and the player of the game, I think it has to go to Poi Tralamalu. He had 5 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception. And I mean, you could definitely give it to Justin Lewis with 10 tackles, 2 for loss. But for Poitras-Lamalu to get a sack out of the strong safety position, definitely good. Kicking, Brandon Baker, 1 for 1 from 49, 6 for 6 on extra points. Punting, Taylor Pleen had 4 punts, 187, netting 154, 2 of them inside the 20, and 1 touchback. Kick returns, 5 for 104 for Jesse Peterson, and punt returns, we did not have any. We're going to get you back to the main screen as the Minnesota Vikings topple the Carolina Panthers 45-40 and move to 7-6. If you've been paying attention to the ticker down at the bottom of the screen, you would have learned that the Green Bay Packers put away the Browns, and they are 7-6 as well. And one of the underlying stats one of the underlying stories is Chris Kantorowicz was here this week. We totally forgot Chris Kantorowicz was picked up by the Carolina Panthers. So Chris Kantorowicz, 3 catches, 46 yards. We'll no doubt try and get him back here in the off season. Trying to see. He also had 1 tackle on special teams. So a good day for Chris Kantorowicz. We'll get you back to the main screen where we will preview next week against the Cincinnati Bengals. This has been Randy Replay. I'll see you in just a moment. And hello and welcome back to the main screen. As you can see, the Bengals and the Vikings are both 7-6 on the season. We're going to get you into the injury report, see if Darian Wilson is out, and he is not. So we take a look at the Bengals injury report. Giovanni Bernard, starting running back down with a knee cartilage tear. Oh my goodness! Out for 4 weeks. And Andre Smith, their left tackle, with a broken wrist for 4 more weeks. Once again, we have a tie atop, and the Lions keep winning. 6-7. We are 7-6. The Packers are 7-6. That will make Week 16 a very interesting game, to say the least. Maybe even a simulcast live broadcast. We'll have to see. So this week, the Packers. See if we can find them here. Okay, so the Packers are at home on the road against Carolina Panthers. We just beat them, but it took everything. That is the number 1 rated defense in the league, as they just beat up on the Browns. So, I don't know. I'd say winnable game for the Packers, but you cannot make mistakes against that defense. The Vikings have the Bengals, so that's a toss-up. Both teams are 7-6. And then the Lions get the Bears, so a divisional game. So at home against the Lions are the Bears. So that is your NFC North wrap-up for this week. I see us going 8-6, tied with the Packers. I do see them pulling out a victory in Carolina. And then that Week 16 matchup will be a live streamable game, maybe even in the snow here on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, Saturday night. So let's get you ready for everything next week, as I'm going to get you out of here. Or I'm going to get out of here. U.S. Bank Stadium plays host to the Bengals and the Vikings next week. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you in the next one.